They traveled by night and hid by day, an arrangement that suited Nova's sensitivity to sunlight. Elias's savings, withdrawn in cash before they fled, sustained them as they made their way northward through increasingly remote terrain. Each day brought them closer to their destination and closer to each other. In a small cabin rented with no questions asked, deep in the Canadian wilderness, they found a temporary haven. Nova stood by the window, watching the aurora borealis paint the sky in colors that reminded her of home. "My people called them ghost rivers," she said softly. "We believed they were pathways for departed souls returning to the stars." Elias approached her from behind, hesitantly wrapping his arms around her waist. She leaned back against him, her body temperature now almost matching his own, one of many adaptations she'd made to Earth. "Do you believe that?" he asked. "I believe in connections," she answered, turning in his embrace to face him. "Some defy explanation. Like finding you when my ship crashed." The kiss that followed was unhurried, exploratory. The luminescent patterns on Nova's skin brightened, extending faintly beneath the surface as if reaching toward him. When they finally broke apart, Elias saw tears in her violet eyes. "What's wrong?" "I may be the last," she said, her voice breaking. "Our evacuation was chaotic. Many ships launched. Few had clear destinations." She pressed her forehead against his chest. "I don't know if anyone else survived." That night, under the dancing northern lights, their relationship transcended physical boundaries. Nova's markings glowed so brightly they illuminated the room, responding to every touch, every whispered word. In the aftermath, lying tangled together, Elias felt as though he'd touched the cosmos itself, beautiful, vast, and ultimately mysterious. "The facility we seek is 3 days north," Nova said later, tracing patterns on his chest that mirrored her own luminescent markings. "A listening post your people built to search for extraterrestrial signals." "SETI?" Elias asked, surprised. "But those facilities are known." Nova smiled enigmatically. "Not all of them. Some were built for receiving, not just listening. Your governments know more than they admit." The revelation should have shocked him, but after everything else, it seemed almost expected. "And the people chasing us?" "Not government," Nova said firmly. "Private interests. They detected my ship's entry. They want the technology, not the warning." Her expression darkened. "They would let your world die to possess such power." As dawn approached, they prepared to move again. Outside, the first heavy snow of the season had begun to fall, covering their tracks but also making travel more difficult. Nature was both ally and obstacle. Elias watched Nova pack their few belongings with efficient movements. Weeks ago, he'd been a reclusive astronomer, content to observe the universe from a distance. Now he was in love with a woman from beyond the stars, running from shadowy pursuers toward a secret facility that might save humanity. "Are you afraid?" Nova asked, catching his gaze. Terrified, he admitted. But not of what's ahead. She understood without further explanation. The thought of returning to his isolated existence after knowing her, that was the true terror. "Whatever comes," she said, taking his hand, her markings pulsing in time with her heartbeat. "We face it together." The Arctic facility rose from the frozen landscape like a mechanical glacier, all angles and antennas, designed to commune with the stars. Approaching it across the ice field, Elias and Nova moved under cover of a blizzard, the wind's howl masking their footsteps. "There," Nova pointed. "The main transmission array, powerful enough to send signals deep into space." Her voice held a mixture of hope and urgency, also powerful enough to broadcast my warning globally. They had almost reached the perimeter when floodlights cut through the swirling snow, pinning them in harsh white illumination. "Dr. Mercer," a voice called through a loudspeaker. "And companion, please remain where you are." Elias stepped protectively in front of Nova, though she gently moved to stand beside him instead. "They've been waiting for us," he realized. "Yes," she agreed calmly. "But not all hunters seek the same prey." Armed figures emerged from the blizzard, surrounding them. At their center walked a stern-faced woman in a white parka. "Dr. Mercer," she said, "I'm Director Keller. We've been tracking you since the observatory." She turned to Nova with undisguised curiosity. "And you must be our visitor." "You're not with the others," Elias stated, noting the official insignia on their parkas, a logo he didn't recognize but clearly governmental. The Harbinger Protocol was established after first contact in 1997, Keller explained as they were escorted inside the facility. A contingency for exactly this scenario. Advanced warning of cosmic threats. In a warm conference room, over the first hot meal they'd had in days. Keller explained further. The facility was multinational, established in secret by countries that had experienced their own quiet contacts over the decades. We've been picking up distress signals for months, she said. Fragments of warnings. But you, she nodded to Nova, are the first messenger to arrive with complete data. Nova's expression was a mixture of relief and sorrow. Then no others of my kind reached Earth safely. Not yet, Keller said gently. But we're still listening. The technical team worked through the night with Nova, downloading the genetic data she carried, complex astronomical calculations, defense strategies, and evacuation plans developed by her civilization before its fall. The cosmic threat was real, a wave of destructive energy moving through the galaxy, obliterating all in its path. We have time, Nova explained to Elias as they watched her data transform into models on the facility screens. Decades, perhaps a century. Enough to prepare if your world unites. And what about you? He asked, voicing the question that had haunted him since their journey began. Now that your mission is complete. Nova's luminescent patterns pulsed softly as she took his hand. My ship cannot be repaired. I'm stranded on Earth. A smile touched her lips. Though stranded is not the word I would choose. Director Keller approached them, offering Nova an official-looking document. Diplomatic status, she explained. Protection, and a position here, if you want it. We need your knowledge. Later, standing at a viewport overlooking the frozen expanse, Elias and Nova watched the aurora dance across the sky. The facility hummed around them, already implementing the first stages of Earth's defense plan. I spent my life studying stars, Elias said quietly, never imagining one would fall at my doorstep. Nova's fingers intertwined with his, her skin now warm against his own. The luminescent patterns that had once marked her as alien had dimmed slightly as she adapted to Earth, but still pulsed with otherworldly light when they touched. In my language, she said, there is no word for ending that is not also a beginning. Outside, the polar night was giving way to the first faint promise of dawn, a new day for two beings from different worlds who had found each other across the vast reaches of space. Whatever cosmic threat approached, they would face it together, their lives forever changed by a chance encounter on a night when stars fell from the sky.